Obviously very proud of this win. I've been from day one a huge fan of Appalachian State and their talent level. Even at the start of the year, I thought they were a team that would make a run at winning this thing. And I know they had some unfortunate, had some injuries throughout the season, but a very talented team, hard to stop. Was really, really pleased in the first half with our defense. One of the biggest keys we had to do with them is take away their transition, because they can really get out and run and hurt you in transition. And in the first half, we didn't give up any transition baskets. We made them have to score in the half court, and did a really good job of that. Only gave up 23 points. And if we could have done a better job rebounding, we really could have had a great defensive half. Second half, they came out, made a really good run at us, which we knew they're capable of their scoring, but I liked my team's mentality. They didn't let it unravel, kept it in check, and we got our opportunities and made a big push midway through that second half, got out in transition. So, and individual player-wise, apparently the coaches and you all media know what you're talking about with all conference teams, because they got, Gamble, Jasmine, Khadijah, all conference. They go for 19, 15, and 18. So obviously you all and the coaches know what you're talking about, because those three played like they're all conference today.
Thank you, Coach. We'll open it up to questions for the student athletes first.
And not that I ever questioned whether you all maybe knew what you're talking about, because that was not my point.
Please wait for the microphone. If you want to ask a question, just raise your hand. Identify yourself with your name and media outlet for your first question.
Troy Schulte, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Girls, just Coach touched on your defense. I mean, I think there was a stretch in the second half where they went 8 minutes without making a basket. I mean, kind of what was it that allowed you guys to do that today, and do you feel like that won you the game? Was how well you guys played defense?
I think that runs are going to happen in basketball, and we all know that. And whenever we went to App State at their place, the same thing happened. And unfortunately, we came out with the loss. But whenever we got here and they started making a run, we just kind of pulled together and not let ourselves down, because obviously you got to make, you have to come together when things like that happen. So I thought that we did a really good job with that.
Over to the left side now.
Red Wolf roll call. For you guys, how does it feel just to get the first one out of the way?
It's pretty nice to get the first one out of the way, because the nervousness of being in the tournament, and you try not to focus on the game after you get the first one out the way, then you get a day to kind of prepare for the next one.
Back to Troy.
Andrea, you were guarding, at least at the start, Sidnor for them. I mean, how much were you on her, and is that a tough kind of assignment? She's got a few inches on you. What were the challenge there?
She is a really good athlete. I mean, she's long, and she can play the 3 and the 4, which is really good for her. But it is a tough matchup. But I think in the first half, I kind of got in her head a little bit when I got her in foul trouble a little bit. But second half, she came out. She did her thing in the beginning, but we made some adjustments, and we were able to contain her.
Troy again.
For either one of you, I imagine kind of what happened in this tournament last year is still a disappointment. I mean, and the goal is to at least get back to the final. Does that make this first game especially a little difficult? I mean, is it hard not to kind of look ahead and try and kind of finish what you guys didn't finish off last year, or is that something you guys have been pretty good at, you think?
I think like you said, it was kind of hard coming in after what happened last year, but we got to put last year behind us. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it now. Just got to lock in and focus on trying to succeed in every game here.
Andrea, any thoughts on that?
It is difficult, it would be difficult for any team coming in here, especially after last year's loss. But I think as a team now, we're just all set on one game at a time. And then once we get back to the championship, then we take it from there.
Wally Jackson, roll call. Coach.
We're going to stick with the student athletes for now.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Okay, thank you very much. You guys can head back to the locker room.
Thank you. Good job.
And again, watch that cord when you're stepping down. And go ahead for Coach.
Coach, in the game there, especially in the first half, you were running people in and out, keeping a lot of fresh legs out there. Was that something you had planned before the game, or you just kind of wait to see what they were giving you, and then you executed your plan?
Yeah, I would not know. I would not say that was something I intentionally went into. I thought, and you know, done this enough times, I should have kind of expected it. But you know, we looked like we got tired early. I think everything that goes into it, the adrenaline and all those things. So that was more just feel, you know, just trying to rotate some players as quick as we could to get them some breaks. And you know, our rotation was pretty good today. Our bench, you know, seemed like every time we put somebody off the bench, they gave us a little something good, and so it worked out well today.
Coach, for you, as you know, mentioning last year and the way it ended, how does it feel for you to just kind of get in here, get this one out of the way, and kind of be able to focus and move on from that?
Well, you know, and I know, and I get it. I get all the, you know, all the question, you know, last year and all that stuff. But you know, trust me, the hours that I put into practice and film, and you know, I haven't looked. I could care less about last year. It's all about, you know, Appalachian State's a really good team, and they have my attention. You know, it's all about those. Now, with that being said, and I told the team this in there too, whether we'd have won the tournament last year, lost the tournament, whatever, I always think any tournament, that first one is the hardest for everybody, just to get the feel. And you know, this morning you got a 20-minute shoot around at 8:50 a.m. and it's just, and you get here, and you know, athletes, we're all routine. We're all used to routines, and you get here, and because of the tournament, you don't get your normal warm-ups, so you got to adjust that, and all the, you know, everything that goes into it. It takes teams out of their routine, and so that's why I think these first games are hard. I think moving on from here, things become more normal for a team.
Coming over to the right.
They made a run opening the second half. I think they got it to 5, and Sidnor gets her fourth foul, goes to the bench, and I think you guys outscore them 12-5 in that period. How big was that? Was that a turning point just to kind of turn them away a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any question. I mean, she's really good. I mean, I think as we all see, I mean, she's, you know, well, you know, I have Gamble who's a game changer, and you know, there's a lot of players in this league. She's one of those game changers. She's really good, and there's no question that that fourth foul changed things. So. Yeah, I do think this, as the players said, you know, they cut it to 5, and we've been a team all year that we've had runs and not so good runs, and sometimes we've allowed it to snowball on us. I thought we regrouped pretty good at that. We never really let it get out of control, and so I was proud of our team for that.
Coach, you know, obviously if things go the way you want, 3 games, 4 days possibly. Drea's played a lot of minutes, but in the second half you had an opportunity to be able to get to sit her somewhat more than what she said all season long. Hey, that's more than all season long, but the advantage of that, knowing what's ahead.
There's no question, and yes, those of you that have been, you know, yeah, she sat for 3 minutes, I think, in the second half, and trust me, that's an anxious 3 minutes for me. You know, it seems like only 3 minutes, but I'm on edge, and I'm ready to at any point. But you know, our players did a good job. You know, we don't normally go with that lineup of Ruffins with Brittany Gill, with Hannah very often, but I thought they did a good job. They allowed their quickness to play well defensively. I was. And I told her this, you know, I subbed Drea back in. I loved what Hannah Cadan did during that stretch when Drea was out. She just had this look of, okay, and I thought she really did a good job of kind of being the glue and holding things together. While, again, a small stretch of time, it was a very crucial stretch of time for us.
You mentioned your defense. Can you expand on that a little bit? Just kind of what did you want to take away from them? What do you think was their biggest threat?
Well, the biggest threat, again, in my opinion, is their transition. I think they can explode on you. And you go back in our home game, while we won, they still got out on transition, and certainly up at their place, you know, you know, I'm a numbers person, Malo, number 20, you know, she hit, 5 or 6 threes against us, their place, and I think 3 of them were in transition. So just taking that part of their game away, I thought, you know, making them have to play us in the half court was a really good job.
Additional questions? Oh, one more.
Yeah, can you just comment on Khadijah's game, 18 and 13 for you, and just kind of everything she's been able to do for you guys?
Well, again, you know, she just, you know, she just kind of takes what comes to her. You know, she's always on the same page with Gamble, you know, and ball screening and popping and, you know, and hitting some open shots. You know, they went a triangle and 2, to my knowledge, 3 possessions. and 2 of the 3 possessions, Khadijah hits a 10-foot wide open jump shot. And she did it once in the first half, and then they went to it in the second half. She hit it again. They never went back to it. Just having a player that can knock a shot down under that, those are those situations. If she misses those shots and then they stay in it, and all of a sudden it kind of can get to you. But I thought Khadijah was really good today.
We have time for a couple more.
One of the things, Coach, that's kind of lost in this is you guys did have to play a little bit different rotation. You didn't have Amanda Lawson.
Yeah.
Just talk about that, the effects of that.
Well, the one thing you do with that is you stretch Khadijah's minutes a little bit, more than probably would like. I think she did get tired, but I thought she handled it well. And we worked. This is not anything new. We knew this was coming with Lawson. Not sure if you all are aware of this, but father is very ill. Had surgery Tuesday. Is going to have another surgery this week. She's gone home to be with her family. So this is not anything that just came about. We were able to practice a few days using Jess at the 4, and while it's not a great situation, we at least were able to get through that. I thought Jess handled it pretty well when she played those minutes in the first half.
Any further questions? Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you.
Just really proud of the way our team competed. I told them in the locker room it was almost like we played too hard, and we really made some critical mistakes. But give a lot of credit to Arkansas State and the way they just came out and were very disruptive. I think they set the tone early. We tried to set the tone in the second half and got into a little bit of foul trouble. And when we don't have our gun on the floor, Mariah Sidner, it's difficult for us to score. But again, a lot of credit to what they did in forcing her to get to the bench and just how they came out and really just set the tone.
Go ahead to questions. And Troy, if you could just identify yourself again for.
Troy Schulte, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. You mentioned it, Coach. I mean, just you make that run open in the second half. Mariah goes to the bench with 4th foul, and they go 12-5, I think, over while she's on the bench. I mean, just kind of how much did that change things? How much of an impact was that?
It was a huge impact, and even in the first half, I think we had cut it to 6, and then we lose Joy Jones and we lose Sidner in the first half. So if you go and you take those 2 stretches during the game, that's the game. Arkansas State is a team of runs, and they can bury you with those 9 and 7-0 runs. And being down, we just couldn't combat it. But we had so much momentum, and I just thought when she picked up her 4th, we lost that.
How do you kind of handle that as a coach on the sideline when you know she's got 4, so she has to come out, but in terms of kind of when you want to put her back out there so that she can still be an impact? I mean, I imagine that's not an easy decision in the heat of the moment.
It isn't, but we were without her for 4 games this season, so I thought in terms of our experience without her, we could weather that storm till maybe the 10-minute mark, and unfortunately we weren't really able to do that. And I think it's because Arkansas State just kept coming at us offensively. We were struggling to guard them off the bounce, so then we needed her to get back in. But I thought at that moment, okay, we've been there before, try to rally the troops, ask other players to step up. But I think when you're on this stage for the first time in the Sun Belt Conference Tournament, we had a lot of new players with inexperience that you're trying to rally.
I think you held them to 37%, and they usually shoot about 4 or 45. So if someone told you that, would you be good with that? Is that a good kind of terms of kind of what you wanted to do defensively? Or? Not
necessarily, because when I go back and chart it, I think we fouled them on 1 of every 3rd possession. I mean, holding them, I looked at the possession-wise, they only made 23 field goals, but they were able to get to the line, and I thought that's where they really hurt us tonight.
Any additional questions? Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you.